Well, we're just sort of getting a little reorganized for the next tune. Put up your hand if you got any questions. Yeah, I know, you've been waiting. Nice shirt, by the way.
What type of preparation do you do, typically like the week prior, dietary, to doing a week-long Survivorman?
So the question is, what kind of preparation might I do, like say a week before I do a Survivorman, typically, especially dietary, what I might eat, what I might not eat. The reality is that, as you guys probably know, I mean, the show's always been based on as much authenticity as I can possibly get. And my philosophy was always that, you know, I can't prepare for a survival. No one prepares for a survival situation. It just happens. So zero preparation. I don't eat. I don't bulk up, so I'm okay. I don't trim down, so my stomach's small. I might have breakfast that morning that I head out. I might not. I leave it entirely up to my mood. That way, when I get out there, it's like I was just got lost. You know. Yeah, to me, it's a deadly word to say the word cheat, but because I'm making a film, it's a little awkward. But I do everything I can, and that was one of the things when, you know, it was like, well, okay, I'm not gonna prepare my stomach because I'm not supposed to know that I'm getting lost. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So it seems a little bit more with all of you, you're kind of a jack of all trades, that you're more of a thriver man than a survivor man.
A what man?
A thriver.
A thriver man. I do thrive, yes.
I was wondering, have you always been that way? Is there a point in your life when it kind of switched and you decided to do all this stuff? You know, maybe a story for inspiration?
So the question is, have I always been this sort of jack of all trades? I've always sort of striven to do well and had a lot of motivation and drive and push forward to make this happen. You know what? The honest, candid answer is no, absolutely not. There was breaking points for me. There were times, I think what it was I had spent a year living in the bush. I don't know if anybody saw the film called Snowshoes in Solitude. And yeah, it was quite a while ago. It was a full year living out in the wilderness with my then wife. And it really was an amazing year to experience. And getting through that year broke a lot of things open in my immature mind. I wasn't an individual who went through early stages of life with a lot of mentors, a lot of guidance, people saying, hey, go down that road and this will give you a shortcut. I didn't have any of that. So I was a late bloomer in just about everything I did. So I spent this year living in the bush, and that taught me a lot. It taught me about achieving your dreams and your goals, and it took a lot to get there. When I came out, it took a few more years to actually get my film produced. I filmed the whole event. And I can say that when I sat there and I held that documentary film called Snowshoes in Solitude and I looked at it, it truly was the first thing in my life I'd ever completed. You know, and I didn't understand, and I came up with this phrase for myself, it was the joy of completion. And that's when I understood that finishing what you start is a huge thing in life. And so it was from that moment, you asked for a moment, it was from that moment on when I held that DVD and I realized I don't have to be, you know, I mean, my background was like 15 years old. I was like a white kid in a white bread, white suburban neighborhood listening to Styx and Supertramp, drinking beer and other nefarious things. And so I came out of almost just sheer boredom with no motivation, no guidance. So that turned me around. I realized that completing things made a big difference. And you could say that definitely led to Survivorman eventually, for sure, yeah. I'll do one more question, then we'll do another song. Yes, sir.
Are they giving you any flack about looking for Bigfoot and the TV, you know, the producer? I know you produce your own stuff, but has anybody, you know, like, what are you doing? Why are you ruining your
That's an interesting question. He's asking me if I take any flack from the from the networks when it comes to Bigfoot, Survivorman Bigfoot shows. The short answer is absolutely. And it was, I'll tell you a little inside story. After we finished the series, and the series did very well in the ratings, and a new person came into a position of power at the network, and I asked her, I said, so, are we going to produce more of these Survivorman Bigfoot shows? Because I like them. I have fun doing them. And I remember her saying, now, first of all, the backdrop to this is a lady in her mid-60s. She'd been in television all her life. I think she might have been responsible for Honey Boo Boo, I'm not sure. And yeah, so now you know the background to her, and she said, oh, no, we're not doing any more of those shows. We don't do any of that paranormal stuff. We're in the Science Channel. We're not going to go down that road. And really what I wanted to say, and of course she was fired a month later anyway, but what I really wanted to say was, okay, hang on a second. You're like a senior executive television producer. You don't have a clue what science is, because she was like, this is not science, there's nothing, and she just didn't like it. And so that's an interesting thing that people don't understand to do with television. You think there's committees and they take into account ratings and all this sort of stuff. A lot of times television comes down to one person, one gatekeeper. Like my Beyond Survival series was the highest rated series I ever produced. But the one guy at the network who was my gatekeeper, he didn't actually like it. That's why it's not on air right now, because of one person. And because of one person, Bigfoot's not on air right now. However, they still love Survivorman, and they've asked for a bunch more of those. So, there you go. Yeah.